Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We are here with a recent guitar that we had on the bench for a restring and setup. He had it back for a couple of weeks and something happened. He must have bumped it. He said his G-string tuner was kind of not acting right, so let's get to work. I'll show you what I found. And the camera lottery says perfect. So you'll notice that I have a tuner pulled out here. That's the G string. He said it was hard to turn. I've already pulled it out and I marked it because I had to order some new ones for him. I tried to source just one, but I didn't. I found some, but I didn't trust the supplier. I won't mention the name. And because I wanted this is a Gibson, we want to put Gibson parts on it. What happened, the camera will never pick this up, but he bumped it at some point and actually bent the tuning peg. It is bent in. I'm sure the camera is going to have a hard time picking that up, but that's what happened. And it is really, it has a flat spot, and then all of a sudden it just gets loose. So when you're trying to tune that string up, and it's the G string, the worst string on a guitar to keep tuned right, if you back it off slightly to tune it, you get a loose spot in the tuning machine. So I had to order a whole set for him. He's going to have 5 spares. These things last. I mean, I just had I'm going to refer to the Epiphone, which has the same kind of deluxe tuners. They were Gibson parts when that guitar was put together. 60-something-year-old guitar, had the original tuners on it. But he will have a bunch of spares, and that's good. I didn't feel comfortable sourcing just one for him from a source that I didn't trust. I wanted to get real Gibson replacement parts, and they are real Gibson deluxe tuners with the same color. Vintage nickel machine heads with pearloid buttons. I guess they call them green, and they do have a green tint to them. So let's get to it. I'm going to give him the old one, of course. Usually I try to always give the old parts, but this will keep these brand new. We're just going to take one out, and let's see if we can do this without disrupting the entire package. I'm going to put the new piece of hardware on it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that hardware. We're going to leave that sealed for him. And bear with me. We're going to leave that sealed. We're just going to use the original hardware, which is the bushing, which is the good kind that actually go into the tuner. Yeah, even that, when I tried to screw the bushing into this one, it's hanging up because, oh yeah, because that tuning peg is actually pushed in that way, which tells me he bumped it. He inadvertently bumped it into something enough that it boogered that tuning peg. So we're going to put him a new one and get him squared away and on his way. I'm going to try to save the string. I don't want to open up another pack of strings. And I hate, it's always a heartache that, once you put a set of strings on and lock them in there, and snip them off close, it's always a chore, a challenge to get that back on there correctly so that you have your break angle and your the correct number of wraps. I had actually pulled this tuner out before I ordered the new ones to compare, because I go, geez, that looks like it's bent, so I pulled another one out to compare it. And yeah, I already put that one back together, so I think we'll be all right. And I was able to put that B as in boy string back on there. Let's get our little screws in there for our G string tuner. I'm sure they'll be happy with this. Try to get it set right back where it was. And you know where I'm going. I gotta put my bionic eyes on. Forgive my bald head. Yeah, that's exactly where it needs to be. I want it to fall right back into the divots that the tuner made in the headstock. And we'll run these home. Not tighten the nut and the bushing on the other bushing nut on the other side yet. I want to get everything pulled in, make sure it's straight, make sure it finds its original home in the wood, and make sure that it's going to play nice, and it is. So these we can snug up. Beautiful. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's get our 10mm socket nice and snug. And see if we get lucky with the G string the way we did with the B string. This is where we could get into trouble, because getting it back in there is always a chore once you've had them locked in. That feels much better. Yeah, it had a flat spot in it. It didn't turn right. Alright, let's see if I get lucky with this. First strap has to go back around the top. And of course, because it's a wire string, it's got spring to it now because it had already been wrapped around the tuning peg. I think that's where we want to be. The first one around the top. Nope. Like that. Yeah, it went too far in. Yeah, come out of there, you. And this is the heartache that I always say. Once you cut them off, when you're restraining your guitar, don't cut them off until you're 100% sure, because it can be a heartache to get them back in there. Once you snip them off, and this one's really going to give me a hard time. This one really wants to give me a hard time. Gotta get that one above it, like it was before. And it's going to try to pull out every time. Alright, I gotta pause really quickly. I don't want you to watch this entire exercise because I'm going to start swearing. Okay, that's 10 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. I'm glad I paused it. And I got a whole bunch of little prick holes in my finger from that stupid guitar string. Oh yeah, that feels a million times better. Yeah, the other one was definitely bent. Let's tune him up. And of course, while I have it here, I might as well clean it up for him. just had this guitar in here not even a month ago. Well, maybe about a month ago, doing a restring and setup for him and a re-clean, clean it up. He gives it to me every time it's ready. You're going to see the first video I post. It's going to post up here in a couple of days, and then I'll post this one right behind it. This one will be much shorter, because it was just really replacing that machine head, that tuning peg, and getting them back up the pitch. Oh, it's like butter now. Okay, we're good. I'm going to call that job done. This was a really quick video. I just wanted to show it as a supplement. The first video is, doing a full cleanup and setup on it. It's going to be up there any day now. And then I'll put this one right behind it. It'll just be like an addition to that. Thanks for playing along. It's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We'll talk to you real soon.